Hey guys, welcome back to an interesting video on Wild Rift. So today we're back with a Varus supplementary guide, and we're going to be talking about a kind of full crit like a Varus build that you would see like probably a Jinx build or a Twitch build, something like that. So obviously Varus, probably his main build is going to be Lethality Varus. That's what you see most commonly, or AP Varus, also very common. So I decided to test out, what if you go for this kind of build? Does it work? Well, the short answer is yes, it does. But if you wanted to play this kind of build, there are probably a lot of other better champions to do it on. But anyways, we're gonna explain how it works and of course show it off in a gameplay, and you guys can decide for yourself if you like it or not. So first up, what we're going for is going to be Gluttonous Greaves, of course, the AD and the Omnivamp itself. Of course, this build is focused on your auto attacks, not on your spells, so you don't need the Lucidity boots or Lethality boots, anything like that. We're trying to auto attack here, so Gluttonous Greaves into, of course, the Bloodthirster first item, of course, gives you huge amounts of AD, physical vamp, as well as the additional AD and attack speed when you're high on health. And then we go into Runaan'S Hurricane. So Runaan'S Hurricane, of course, gives you additional attack speed, a little bit of AD, as well as, of course, splitting your bolts into attacking 3 people at one time, which scales off of 55% of your AD, which we are gonna have quite a bit of eventually. And of course, you deal on-hit damage as well. So now, a really sort of important thing to note here is that when you attack 3 people at the same time, you are stacking your Blight on them. So you can, for example, attack 3 times, have 3 people full stack on Blight, and then you can arrow them to proc your Blight. Alright, so next up we have IE. So IE, what it does, obviously, huge amount of AD, increases your crit damage. And then we have more reminder, Armor Pen, AD, Grievous Wounds, pretty straightforward. And lastly, we go for Shield Bow. So Shield Bow, of course, gives you even more AD, a little bit of attack speed, but of course we're mainly here for the Lifeline passive for that shield as your last item. Now, of course, if the shield is down or if you don't want Shield Bow, you can always go for other defensive options such as your Guardian Angel, such as your Steric's Gauge instead of Shield Bow. You can also go for your Maw. You can even go for other items such as, where is it? Here it is, your Crown, things like that, right? So another option you could go for is, you could also go for Phantom Dancer, but honestly I think you have more than enough attack speed by the time you reach the end of your build, so don't really think that's necessary. Or you could also replace Runaan'S with Phantom Dancer, but I prefer Runaan'S personally because Runaan'S is a really strong item, and also, of course, Runaan'S helps you again spread your Blight, which is really good. So next up, we're going to go into Rune. So of course, being an on-hit attack speed focused build, obviously Lethal Tempo is the logical option. You get a lot of additional attack speed from this, allows you to stack your Blight faster, allows you to attack more, and of course deal more damage. So pretty much the only way to go here is the Lethal Tempo. Next up, we of course have Brutal. So Brutal, of course, you're auto attacking a lot, so Brutal is going to do a lot of extra damage, together with Giant Slayer, which generally works very well against almost every team, of course helping you to shred their tanky champions faster. And then we go for Legend Alacrity here because we already have enough Omnivamp from the Gluttonous Greaves and the Bloodthirster, so we rather get like more attack speed here. But if you prefer the Omnivamp, that's an option as well. And lastly, we go for Bone Plating for the defensive options. And then after, we go for Flash for our spells, and we go for Ghost. Of course, Ghost really useful to weave in our fights, dodge skill shots, in team fights, etc. Of course, you could go for Exhaust as well if there's an assassin that's going to jump onto you, but in general, Ghost is going to be your best option. So with all that out the way, we can hop into our gameplay. Okay, so now into the gameplay. So with this version of Varus, where you're basically focused on, of course, auto-attacking and on-hit, you basically just want a support who can protect you. So ideally, this will be some kind of enchanter, like a Lulu, a Janna, maybe even like a Yuumi. Morgana's kind of fine. She at least has some kind of peel with her Q, also some kind of catch potential with her Q, which you can combo with your ult, and she also has a Black Shield, which will be helpful against things like the Ash Arrow and such. But of course, this relies on Morgana's actually using the Black Shield. From my personal observations, I think Morgana supports are pretty horrible at using the Black Shield. There's only 2 kinds. The kind that spams the Black Shield on you and the enemy team plays around it, so you basically have no Black Shield. Or the kind that just never uses the Black Shield or only uses it on themselves, which basically, again, is kind of the equivalent of no Black Shield. Rarely do I ever see a Morgana who can use Black Shield properly, at least on their ADC. Anyways, that's not really the important part. We're gonna, of course, talk about Varus and not Morgana here. So, Varus is a relatively strong laner because you can, of course, auto attack and Q people down in the lane itself. However, in this particular matchup, we're playing against Ashe, who is probably one of the strongest laners in the game. So, of course, when you have a strong laner versus a stronger laner, the stronger laner is going to do better. So, we can't really get to see Varus's laning power in this particular matchup. Also, of course, Ashe has a Lulu, which is going to be able to, of course, protect her with those shields and, you know, polymorphs and stuff. So, regardless, we are going to, of course, just play the lane as we should, and you can see that we are getting a good amount of poke down on the Ashe, because of course we have longer range with our spells, but she has longer range with her auto attacks, and she also can hide behind minions, whereas we can. So overall, it still kind of works out for us, at least because she's not taking advantage of her extra auto attack range to harass us, whereas we are using our extra spell range to harass her. So, before we get too far into the video, I'm going to point out the main issue with on-hit Varus. And basically, the main issue is the simple fact that, before we talk about that, you can see a Singe coming for a gang. There's nothing I can do here, so I'm just going to ditch my Morgana and go back to base. If I reveal myself, most likely I'm just going to die instead, or I have to blow some sums. No reason to for any of that to happen. We're just going to complete the recall and get back to base. So, the main problem with this Varus build is he doesn't really have the longest range, so you have to be pretty up close and personal with your enemies. And of course, not just that he doesn't have range, but he doesn't actually have mobility. So it's really easy to get caught by basically any kind of CC, and it's really easy to, you know, basically just walk up and get destroyed essentially, because you're really squishy as well. Of course, you're going like full damage, no kind of tank items or any funny business like that. And basically because of that, it's really dangerous, which is kind of the main reason why I think if you want to play this kind of hyper carry playstyle, there are so many better champions to play, you know. Champions like Kai'Sa, Xayah, Tristana, like they at least have like safety tools, whereas you have like literally no safety tool. But of course, what you do have is a lot of damage from your items and a lot of attack speed from your lethal tempo as well as your passive. So especially with the Runaan'S, if you happen to be fighting near a minion wave and you kill minions while you're fighting champions because of Runaan'S, you're actually going to proc your passive and gain additional attack speed from killing minions, which is pretty amazing. And obviously, you know, if you get any kind of fed or anything like that, you're going to be doing a lot of like extra damage because of that. And yeah, so that's going to be pretty good. But honestly, as I mentioned, there are just so many better champions to play. I just played this game to basically just test out. Here you can see we try to catch up Morgana, but the Ashe arrow not stuns me, but interrupts me out of my Q channel, and because of that, we're not able to basically kill anyone, and we just die instead. In fact, the first part of the game for Varus is pretty tough, because you have no early power spike, you're not building lethality, so you're kind of suffering, but at the same time you don't have items yet, so you're of course really weak compared to lethality Varus. Of course, AP Varus is pretty similar, but yeah, that's just sort of the situation that we're in. Of course, that was still the correct play to try to fall out from Morgana route to try to basically just one-shot the Lulu, but obviously I played that pretty bad by getting hit by Ashe ulti, or like, you know, not getting off my Q basically, so we had no chance of killing Lulu there. Really kind of unfortunate. But thankfully though, although this game starts off pretty bad, it's gonna get a bit worse, but although the game starts off pretty bad, eventually it does turn around, and you can see the power of what you know, this kind of on-hit Varus can really do. I guess pretty much the only time you would really want to play on-hit Varus is if you are like a Varus one trick, or Varus is one of your few main champions and you want to basically learn all of Varus's builds, because he's very versatile. You can of course go you can go full lethality, you can go full AP, you can go of course this on hit build, and you can also do combinations of multiple of them. Like there are builds like, for example, you go Manamune into Collector and then into you know, full on hit after that. So here once again we get flung by the Singe. There's really no way we can get out into the Loadout, into the ground, into the Ashe arrow, and we just go down. But yeah, so you have combos of builds like that as well, and you also have like of course on hit into AP into on hit, a lot of different build variations. In terms of builds, I think Varus is probably the ADC with the most build variations. Maybe Kai'Sa can kind of can kind of compete at this current time, because you have the AP build, you have like the on hit build, and you also have like the Dust Blade builds, like Dust Blade into AP and Dust Blade into on hit. So you do have quite a number of Kai'Sa builds at the moment now as well. But Kai'Sa of course doesn't go for pure lethality, she just goes for Dust Blade first item. So I would say Varus is still probably the most versatile ADC in terms of build. So here we barely managed to save our tower, and we're of course just trying to get items, trying to scale up. We don't really have very much items yet, and we are 1k gold behind the Ashe, who's now 3-0. So initially I was thinking like, wow, this game looks really bad, and I don't think unhit Varus is really good either. Of course in this particular game, Singe is probably our biggest problem, and Lilia is also a problem if she gets in close and sleeps us. So I was like, this game looks really, really difficult. My team isn't doing too hot either. Me and Morgana both 0-2. Of course, Master Yi is doing well at 5-2. Here we are able to follow up with that Zoe bubble into the flash ulti to get the shutdown on Ashe. Of course, really, really important to secure that shutdown. Of course, blowing our flash for that, absolutely worth it. Zoe is now on the chase for the Lulu, using the movement speed from her W by recasting the flash, and is able to get the sleep and the one shot onto the Lulu. While we are picking plates up in the meanwhile. Speaking of which, because both of them died at such desync timings, and both me and Zoe are here, we're actually able to get the entire tower itself, and we are of course able to secure that. So now off this bag we will be able to pick up our Bloodthirster, which is of course the first major power spike, but I will say Varus really only comes online at maybe 2 to 3 items. Like when you get Runaan'S, you can sort of do something, and after Runaan'S, when you get IE, you really start to become strong. Just pretty much like any other standard like hyper carry ADC kind of thing. But of course with that shutdown and with the tower plate goal, I'm able to basically catch back up to Ashe's situation. Unfortunately the tower goes down to minions, but thankfully no one is around to get local goals, so it's not too bad of a situation. Here Morgana's roaming and my whole team is basically on bot side, so I want to be very cautious when I basically step up here. I'm just quickly going to clear minions and I'm just going to walk away. I can see Ashe and Kill in mid, so this should not be too dangerous for me. So here I'm wanting to roam mid. I can see Master Yi actually on his way to mid as well, and Morgana is already there, so we can see if a play can be made here. Zoe's coming mid as well, but unfortunately the enemy team pushes in the wave and they are able to basically back away before we can really do anything. Zoe is going top to catch the wave, so I'm just gonna stay mid to collect the wave here. And of course, as an ADC in the mid game, it's always better to stay in the mid lane, especially if your mid laner allows you to take it. So here we can see 4 people in the bot lane. So here I know a fight's gonna break out because Master Yi just basically looks like he wants to jump in. So here I'm ready to join the fight. Of course, staying at a safe distance. I get the root off onto Lilia, which spreads to her entire team, and now I'm just trying to auto attack them down. Of course, with my Bloodthirster, I get really a lot of them really low. Lilia's like 1 HP, but she has the movement speed, so she escapes. I'm able to instead snipe Lulu and get the kill onto Kill, and Master Yi in the meanwhile is able to pick up the other 2 kills. So overall my team got 4 kills in total, and none of us died, so that was an incredible fight. So here in the meanwhile, they're actually now onto the Singe. I'm not too concerned about the Singe because I'd rather just get the tower. So while they're busy killing the Singe, I'm taking this opportunity to just push in this tower and secure this tier 1 tower, which is not only going to open up the map by a lot, but it also gives me, as you guys can see here, actually you can't see there, but it actually gave me I think like a 200 gold or something when you get like the solo local tower goal, so a lot of extra gold in my pocket as well. So here we are able to complete Runaan'S Hurricane just before the Ocean Dragon spawns, and we actually get Ocean Dragon pretty much instantly. Now sitting on double dragon, so triple dragon, with the soul is a possibility. So here you can see one of the main points of why Runaan'S is so good, because it spreads your blight stacks onto 3 things at once, and in this case it was the wolves, so I was able to basically just burst the wolves pretty much instantly here. And here I'm trying to ping Riven away because we can't really see who else on the enemy team is around. We don't really want to get a fight here. Good Black Shield by Morgana to prevent Singe from flipping me. So here I'm starting to be in a little bit of trouble. I'm able to finish off Lilia and flash away from the Ashe, and here you can see the burst damage from the Varus to pick up the triple. And here Lulu just basically runs away. But yeah, you can see on 2 items, as I said, is right where you really kind of come online, and we can really see that based on what we had in this fight here. You can also see the lifesteal coming through from the Bloodthirster plus the boots, Gluttonous Greaves kind of combo, which is, of course, really helpful. And picking up those 2 kills at the bottom lane just now with these 3 kills has now made us really fat. If you take a look at the goal, we're now at close to 10k goal, and of course only Master Yi is ahead of us, but we're basically ahead of the whole enemy team at this point. And of course we're in a really good spot. So I was trying to ping the Master Yi to try to help me take the red buff, but he doesn't seem so interested, so I'm just gonna quickly grab the red buff for myself. And something to note when you play Varus on hit is you don't necessarily have to full charge your arrow all the time, because your main damage comes from your auto attacks anyway, so sometimes you can just tap W then tap Q to just quickly proc your stacks. You don't have to fully charge your Q, because you're actually wasting a lot of time by charging your Q instead of DPSing with your auto attacks, which is gonna do more damage than what your Q can do, most likely. So here I'm just gonna quickly grab this Skull Crab before the Singe can make his way over. And here of course there's a little bit of downtime, so I'm just gonna quickly farm up these Krugs. Looks like my team is about to get in a fight here, so I'm kind of just rotating over because it definitely looks like Morgana's getting caught. Here Lilia actually catches me out, kind of setting a trap here, but I'm able to get far enough away, and I'm attacking minions to restore health. I get the root down onto Singe, so me and Riven are trying to run, but Lilia is just kind of running me down at this point, and just all I can really do is to just spam auto attacks, because I can't really run with Singe's Rylai slow, and I don't really have summoner spells anymore, so unfortunately I do end up dying. But it becomes quite an exciting match where Lulu eventually is the one to finish off the final kill onto Zoe, and Zoe actually gets the kill on Singed, and etc. So only Master Yi is left alive on my team, which is not really the best situation in the world. And he's basically just farming the enemy jungle, which is not all that bad. Here, enemy team is pushing all the way up to the inhibitor, but of course we have respawn, so they can't really push any further, which is great. And honestly, the enemy team could have went for the Baron there, because the Master Yi was on the opposite side of the map, so he wouldn't have been able to stop the Baron anyway. So I think that was a mistake by the enemy team to not go for the Baron. But of course that's good for me and my team. Instead, now they're trying to push mid, so I'm just going to head over to try to defend the mid tower. Here Lilia has crown, so I'm trying to proc the crown using my Q, so that if we have a fight later, we won't have the crown issue. But she is able to, of course, just skip away and to be on her way. So really important is you want to, with any Bloodthirster ADC, you want to attack waves all the time, because you want to always top up your health here. Here Singe is kind of getting caught out, but I can't really chase in because of the Rylai's Liandry's that he has. So because if you chase in, basically you're just going to get slowed and just going to get damaged for no reason. Here looks like a huge fight is about to break out. Dragon spawning in 20 seconds. Here I can see I'm just auto-attacking the kill down, proccing her crown as well, auto-attacking the minions to gain back all of my health. Master Yi and Zoe are pretty low, so we do have to be cautious. So is Morgana actually, so we're kind of in a pretty bad position at the moment. So here, we're basically just going to recall, because honestly we're not in a position to fight. I'm able to pick up my QSS here. I'm 3 full items with my IE, my Runaan'S and my Bloodthirster. So here the enemy team commits to a play on mid. So here I'm just rotating over to try to help out Master Yi. Root onto the Lilia, burst her down as well as the kill. There goes both of them, and now I'm moving on to the Ashe. We get the Ashe here, and here honestly I could have tried to chase for Penta, but I felt that Singe would have just slowed me down. It wouldn't have worked, so instead I try to flash over here to prevent myself from getting slowed. I do eventually manage to kill the Singe with the QSS as well, but it didn't even count for a quadra kill, so that was pretty sad. So at this point, Lilia basically given up. She started trolling. She has 5 Oblivion Orbs in her inventory, so she's basically going to be doing nothing at this point. So pretty sad for the enemy team that they decided that the Lilia basically decided to troll and throw the game. But well, I guess we did too well in this case, together with our teammates. And yeah, she probably is tilted out of her mind. So anyways, we pick up the Ocean Soul, which is pretty useful honestly on hit Varus, because of course more lifesteal, very good for, you know, for when you're of course just auto attacking in general. Of course, if this was AP or Lethality, Varus, the Ocean Soul would have been a lot less helpful, but on hit Varus, completely insane. So here I'm just helping Master Yi to pick up the red buff, and I'm just getting that red buff myself. And since no one is taking the blue buff, I'm trying to head over there to get the blue buff before it expires, which I do actually manage to get. And here we can see kill split pushing, so I have two choices. Either I go stop the kill from split pushing, or I join my team. But in this case, I felt that we could just join my team, get Baron, and, you know, probably just end the game off of that. So here we catch the Singe goes down. QSS to remove the slow, and Master Yi basically just killed all of them anyway. And Kill, meanwhile, is only pushing onto tier 2, not even at the inhib yet. So we have Morgana backing to defend against the Kill. Of course, Morgana with her W can clear wave pretty easily, so Kill shouldn't be able to get the inhib. Zoe's actually there as well. So meanwhile, me and Master Yi pick up the Baron. You can see the Baron is kind of, you know, destroying my health bar, but we are able to get the Baron recall, and continue towards building our Molar Reminder. Alright, so now of course what we're really looking to do is to use our Baron buff. You can see I'm really hesitant to walk out because we have no vision at all and we don't know where the enemy team members are. Now we can see like 3 to 4 of them in the mid lane near that base, so now I'm okay to walk up. So here we're in a scenario where basically we have 2 people pushing bot, 2 people pushing mid, and Zoe pushing top. So we're in prime position to get multiple towers. So since mid inhib is already gone, we're just rotating to join the rest of our team in the bot lane to see if they need our help. And Zoe is meanwhile still pushing top, so they're gonna lose either the top inhib or the bot inhib, or maybe even both, depending on who they respond to. So here only Kill responds to Zoe, so Zoe should be able to get that top inhib. Here we secure the bot inhib without very much contest at all. And here you can see Zoe is trying to secure that top inhib. I'm ghosting forward to get the ult down onto the Singed. Singe tries to fling me, but Morgana with a really good black shield now to prevent me from getting flung into the base. And here we get all 3 inhibs, but we're not quite able to end the game yet. Elder Dragon is up, so Master Yi is just going for the Elder Dragon. Don't really even need our help. I'm just going to probably recall. Looks like I want to recall here. Okay, so the reason I don't recall here, even though I can and should, is because Master Yi and Morgana are not willing to recall. So I highly suspected here that Master Yi and Morgana would basically int into the enemy team, and I wanted to be there so that we can at least get kills back, or maybe even just win the game off of this. So I basically just end up staying instead of backing, which I should. And here you can see that we can't really do very much. We don't have Baron buff, we only have Elder buff, and if the enemy team doesn't fight us, there's not too much we can do. So here Singe throws Master Yi into danger. And here we basically decide to do a little bit of trolling because we're so far ahead and we basically think the game is won at this point. So we decide to go for like a dive under the enemy nexus as the enemy nexus is dying. So I get ult off and basically just spam attacking whoever I can. Master Yi, I think, dies or something like that. Oh, he goes into the enemies, and I tank tower because of that. And basically my whole team ends up dying to basically the nexus tower, which is really bad, and that shouldn't be happening. But thankfully we have all our waves of super minions going in, and the super minions are going to end the game for us because Singe can't clear the minions. So we still win the game anyways with a little bit of trolling at the back. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and goodbye.